Okay, we'll bow. Roll on. Thing come in. Okay, we'll start a little bit of loosening up. So let's check my body. Let it come off the ground a little bit. And just make it as dynamic as you need to. It's a little bit cold, make it a bit dynamic. Okay, come in front and back. Want to make it a little bit bigger, come in fully to the front, a bit to the back, not too far. You feel the spine's nice and flexible. Okay, side to side. Really trying to pass a wave through the body. And again, just make it a little bit bigger. It's as if the hands get pulled down to the ground. That's just like a side bend. Keep it nice and loose. Try not to hold any of the positions. Just let it go. Let it go. There you go. So focus a little bit more on movement and footwork today. Just feel this side to side one's really great. Again, for like compression in the feet. Just feeling the weight enter the foot. So the more that the hand draws down, just try and feel more and more weight entering the foot. And just notice it. Just there. And just play a little bit. If you imagine someone pulling the arm down or just dropping the arm, you can imagine you can drop it directly to the side. Also feel you can just drop it a little bit to the front, a little bit to the front, a little bit to the back. And just feel what effect that has on the weight dropping. Just feel, especially in terms of balance, but just in terms of weight in the feet, or the feeling of weight in the ground. Let's see what difference that makes. And just play with it again. You can drop it straight down to the side, to the back. And you really listen to the feet. Just feel what's going on in the feet. There's a lot of stuff happening in the feet. Lots of tiny little bones, connections. Really pretty complicated, the feet. There we go. Good. Good. And then just start to take it to a rotation. And then just keep dropping into the feet. So, drop it now in a kind of spiral. And the main things I'm trying not to twist the body so much. So I'm not trying to kind of spin the body out. Just trying to kind of feel like just spiral down to the ground. It's quite light. Again, just feel what's going on in the feet. And we'll just keep that movement quite balanced. Something kind of needs to happen where the weight's going to like spiral into the ground. Or I just kind of spin out of the ground. Just play with it a little bit, being heavy. Especially pay attention to the knees as you do this movement. It's the same movement, just keep a little bit of a different emphasis. I'm going to look a little bit like this kind of your AIKIKAI movement again. And this is about like chained movement through the body. So it's like I feel like it starts in the foot. It's going to go into the hip and then it's going to come out of the hand. A bit like Night Fever, you know, with John Travolta, this kind of go. But there's something going to come from like foot, hip, hand. So that just make it kind of obvious a little bit. It's the same movement, but just feel like that gets drawn out of that. So just play around with the same movement. You can just play around with like one arm. I just feel it's like a chain that goes through. Again, it's like ground to the center and then to the periphery. And in a physical sense, it's the foot, the hip to the hand in this case. Just so you can kind of make it, it's just making it kind of non-subtle, totally obvious. Good. That's it. Good. Let's see. And just now work with the sense that the hand can start anywhere and then do the same thing. So the key thing is that whenever we go to a position, especially with the hand, that I'm not going to move the arm. So just feel like you can put the hand anywhere. Again, really feel the structure of the ground to the hip and then to the hand. So I want you to feel like you drag the arm down from the ground and then draw it back out. Again, it's related really to sword work. Again, it's really what we do when we do sword work. Just get that sense of something's from the ground, drawing it down. And again, make it as dynamic as possible. And as long as I can hold the sense that the ground is kind of moving the hand, then you can basically take it anywhere. And it's usually like in the simple movements.
Michael?
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say make it as dynamic as possible? Is that like more flowing or more connected or faster or?
Basically, if I'm doing it like this, ideally I would do the whole class like this. Millimeter by millimeter. So the connection can work like that. But it gets a little bit boring. People get a bit bored with that training, and me too. So making it more dynamic is like I just make it more flowing, and I basically speed up. I speed up the connection work in honesty. So okay. More dynamic means go a bit faster if you want, if you like.
Thank you.
Don't bore yourself to death. There we go. And at the end of the day, all the connection work relies on flexibility. So if I've got like no flexibility, that's also, so we need to mobilize everything, but there we go. Yeah, just play with it. Good. Okay. Yeah, what you're going to do now is rather than, also one thing about being more dynamic means that I'm going to use more of the body to do it. So I can do this and just feel like the hand, or I can do something where I'm doing a technique and it comes to these kind of positions. So you can also now make it a little bit more dynamic in terms of moving the feet, moving the body, and you can just do really simple ones. So the most simple one, if you go from like this position, is if you think about like your Iminagi. So think about now bringing the body into a movement. So again, just play with this. It's like but there's something where I'm trying not to start in the hand and the arm. And I'm really getting the sense that there's a connection in the ground, hip, hand. So really get something, you're basically going to step with the connection now. Make it really, really simple. But in terms for us, we're looking like a kind of a Iminagi movement, that kind of go. That's it. Just let it go down. Boom. That's it, Nick. Good. And And again, just test the connection, because sometimes going faster, it basically tests my limits. So if I go to my limit, I know where I'm going and breaking the connection. So if I go like this and then I go, and I go fast, I know, oh, that was the other. So you can also go fast with it, feel like you can take it. And the moment I feel that connection's kind of not really where I want to go, I just take it slow. If I can't hold it slowly, then I go back to this. And if I can get it there, I take it next. Boom, got it. Boom, got it. That's it. That's it. Just really play with it a little bit. That's it. Boom, good. Nice. Okay, we're going to do like a fixed pattern with this now. So with the Takemusu Aikido, you're going to be here. All I want to do is roll back, draw the arms up like this, so that they're not coming up in this case. They're just kind of this level. Just open them out and then just press it all forward. This way. So basically the hands are going to stay on this level. They're going to stay around this level. So they're not coming up or down. Just let them stay around this level. They're going to come here and then just press it all forward. I want you to feel the same kind of dynamic. So get out of pushing again. So a little bit more. This is like yesterday. Just get the sense that you're going to just spiral and coil through. But I still fundamentally want this relationship between the ground, hip to the hand. So I really always want to feel the ground underneath the movement. The ground underneath. Down. And that's the kind of structure and that's the order we're always training in Aikido. Yeah. That's it. Good. That's it. Nice. Okay, so you're going to go like this. You're going to do the same movement. So you're going to roll back, step in. Now from this position, just come into tiny ankle, roll into the back, into here. Okay. And you change the position, roll back, goes 1, 2, and then from this position to tiny ankle, 3, and then change position 4. You're just doing 4 movements. You roll back 1, press forward 2, tiny ankle 3, and then change the position 4. And then you just repeat it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, change. 1. Oh no, do the wrong one. Wait a minute. 1. Roll back. 2. Tiny ankle 3. Change position. 1. Plus 1. That's it. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so the tiny ankle and the rotation, just watch it. There's a few ways there's a few ways you can use the connection to do that. Well, then the main ones I want to avoid in terms of tiny ankle is revolving around the outside of the body. So if I set the body up like this and then I revolve around it, it's like trying to go around the outside of the circle. Try and feel like what you do is actually something else where you roll through the ground. And it's the feeling like the ground's underneath the movement. So as you do the rotation with the body, it's a feeling like you wave through the ground. Oh, this. Rather than rotating around to the back. This is basically unstable. So if, again, my connection to the ground is essential to the ground, and then I rotate through it that way. So it's just like a change in movement, but it's something, again, about my relationship to the ground. Boom, not just the rotation out. Just try and get the sense of there. Something, again, something underneath. It's becoming actually much more aware of what's underneath the feet. The ground, the ground, the ground there. Where's the ground? Boom, the ground. Just play with it a little bit. Yeah. Good. Nice. 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 Okay. So you've got 4 movements. We're just going to go to 7 moves. So you're going to go again like this. The first one back, 1. Pressing it forward, 2. Coming into tiny handcuff, 3. What you do is just press forward, 4 for this movement here. Now what you're going to do is enter into the Morotodori. So you're going to come in, roll to the back here, and then press it up, coming through this way. So the new movements now from the tiny handcuff position goes 1, and then in, and then to the back. And then you're just going to take it there. So I show the whole set. If you get lost, just copy me, because I'm just going to keep repeating it. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 7 here. 7 moves. Good.
Michael, I have no idea about it.
Good. I'm going to repeat. I can see everyone a little bit lost. Okay.
6.
Look, I'll tell you a method. I'll tell you a method to do it. If you get one of the reasons you get it lost is you're not giving yourself time enough to do the movement. So this is a bit. I know this myself because I know it from me personally. So if I skip the keep on, basically watch this. I go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So really give yourself time. What you're going to do is 1, 2, easy. And you probably know 3, 4 easy. What I've got to do is get really good at 1, 2, really good at 3, 4, 5, 6 will come, and then 7 will just appear. But really, what I want you to do is don't rush to the end. It's not about doing 7 movements. It's actually about doing them well. So I'm not interested in whether you do 7 or 14 or 36 or anything like that. We could take this anywhere. It just gets more complicated. And especially in the morning, to do lots of movements would be really, really confusing. But keep it really simple. So if I get lost in this, I'm going to break it down. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. If at any point during maybe 5, 6, I get confused, stop, go back to 1. Okay. If I get to 2 and I get confused, go back to 1. If I get to 3 confused, go back to 1. So this is basically it, because you know 1 and 2, no problem. Everyone can do 1 and 2. So just get really good at doing 1 and 2. If I get really confused, 3, and then I go, where do I go? Don't think, go back to 1. So this is a good method. I got this from a nice teacher, you all know. But if you get lost, don't think about, it's not about getting to 7. So it's nothing to do with doing a count. It's to do with practicing concentration. What you're actually training is your concentration. So that point when you go 5, shit, what do I do? That is the training. That's the point of the exercise.
How do you go from that 6 to 7, Michael?
Oh, it's really easy. Watch. 5, 6, and 7.
Oh, this is not...
7. Easy. No? You go 6, you go 7.
Just for the record, you did that multiple different ways while we were doing the exercise.
Yeah, I was playing with it. Yeah.
Oh,
That's why you should never really watch me.
okay.
Yeah. And you can also totally play with these. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Lost after that.
Yeah, good. There we go. Wow. Good. That's it. Got it. So there's also a kind of bit of a logic in this way of doing techniques like this. They get more complex as you do it. So 1 and 2 is pretty easy. 3 is pretty tricky. So when you go into 3, especially the tiny henko, this rotation is quite tricky. Now, as you get to this kind of Marotodori work, this is really tricky. Especially this last move as well, this. So it gets more complex as you go on. So by nature, I'm going to get more confused. It requires more concentration. It requires more of the body to like switch on. So if you think about this, it's like a way to get into the training method. And then in a sense, this isn't the training. This is like a preparation for the training. So this is what solo training is. So what I want to do is notice, even when I'm doing solo training, how easy it is to lose my concentration, how easy it is to get distracted, just from doing 7 movements. I mean, they're just 7 movements, but they're getting increasingly complicated. And I've not done them for a while, maybe, but see them on that way and actually train with that. So train with your disconnection, train with your distraction, train with all of it, because that is the training. That's the point of the training, is to notice that. So don't get frustrated. It's not bad or good. It's not negative. And if you really need help, shout, and I will help you. But just train with that. Train with your. Because they're just not problems. Just enjoy it a little bit. Just
I just see the transition from 4 to 5.
Sure.
And then the last, well, basically.
Sure. I'll show you the last step, because these are also new for you, Nick. So when you go like this, you've got that position. Okay, just press this forward. So you go here. Now, as you come into this move, what I want you to do is just from that position, sink in.
Yeah.
Sink in and roll to the back. So just watch the feet where you go like 1, 2. And then from here, just press from the front foot, raise it up and just sink it back. Just that. So if you want it, if you just copy me, just watch this. Just start from this position, sink in, this roll to the back. It's just that, and then with this, just come back there. And in this case, just practice those last 3 moves. So it's just like this. 1, 2, 3. Just that, and then just coming back. 1, 2, 3. You can just come back to it.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Just play with those moves if you like. That's it. That's it. Good.
And then,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'll show you a bit with an object so it's a bit clearer what I'm doing. I got a boy from the sea. So it's like this. If you imagine like a ball in the hands, you go in, roll over, and then what I want to do is get underneath it and throw it to the back. So it's like doing this. I sink in, roll around it, and then from here, press it up, and then draw it into the ground. So I'm trying to manipulate it with an object. So this will be a little bit different with a partner, but it's the feeling of rolling in with something, getting underneath it, and dropping it into the ground this way. So you can also do, if you've got an object around you, you've got a cushion or whatever, you can also use this just as a kind of a. This is where not doing so much work with a partner doesn't help so much. But if you can understand it on a kind of just a physical, functional level, just kind of moving one thing to another place. Oh, good. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. You're all in. Good. Good. Great. Okay, take BOKKEN. There you go. Okay, okay. So, okay. So we're going to build up 7 more movements. So we're going to start really basic. So just start in this position. Kind of heels are together, nice and relaxed. Just find the ground again. So a lot of movement, a lot of activity, getting taken out. What am I doing? Just come back to a position where you can just go, oh, really simple. Sink into the ground. Swords just on the left. Just feel like it's fit into the system. And just slowly coming forward. Right side hammy. I'm just going to go into the first Saburi. Find the back, cutting down. Find the back, cutting down. Good. Yes. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so I was listening to a story yesterday from an old Daito Ryu instructor, obsessive compulsive trainer. He would train all day, every day. He had enough money that he could do it, but he had lots and lots and lots of solo drills. He did 5, 6, 7 times the amount of solo training to partner with. He was obsessive training like this. So what he and he basically had one exercise which he had lots of hammers in the room. So he had really from a very small hammer to little, medium size, and they got heavier and heavier. And he would do the same connection work, and he would start with a small hammer, just raising it, and he would try and get it with the center, catch it with the center, catch it with the center. And he, as soon as he felt like, got it there, he went to the next heavy hammer, and then he did the same. And he would do 100 repetitions or 1,000, and then he'd go to the next hammer. And someone asked him, why have you never used the top hammer? You've never used the heaviest hammer. And he said, because I just don't have the skill yet to do it. So what I want you to feel the same thing, but you can use different weighted bokkens and all this kind of stuff. The bokken in itself is pretty light, so it's not really too much of an issue. But for us, just feel it at some point, just use the hand to do it. So you want the feeling like, again, I'm kind of gum. And it's a bit like hammering a nail in. It's got the same kind of quality. Gum, gum, feel you get that position. And then go into the sword as well. Gum. Gum. And you're looking for something that's actually really efficient. And ultimately, you're looking for an effortless connection from the center to the periphery. And as soon as you feel like I'm lifting it, or it's heavy work, then I need to kind of take it down a little bit. For us, it's not just about also going heavier. It's about going slower. So go slow, go light, go slow, go no speed, no power. And also feel that you can just do it with the hand, because essentially you're doing the same body work. That. You can use the bokken. You can use a heavier bokken like this one. So you can use whatever you've got in the room, but just feel that if I can hold the connection. And there's no kind of failure in connection work. So there's nothing to do with like, I'm failing the connection. It's just that it's non-functional, and I want to be more functional. So as long as I can move towards more greater function, especially in terms of center work, then I'm kind of working the system. Just see if you can. And these are really simple movements like Shomanuchi or the first Suburi. Really, really great. Just to work something very simple. So it's simple, but it's just essential. You're training an essential connection. So there we go. That's it. Yes. Good. That's it. Yeah, good. Good. I just want you to just emphasize one thing, which is the raise. So again, for me, the raise is actually the more difficult part of the thing. So because it's what I would assume to be heavy lifting. So if you had a very heavy object, if you can imagine, it would take more effort to raise it up than it would to drop it down. Just basic like logic. So the raise is actually the more difficult. It requires more effort to do it. So that's the one that requires much more consciousness in terms of making it effortless. So just look for in the raise something where there's really needs to be a sense of springiness, again, from the ground to the hip to the hands. And as soon as, because I can get away with this in the bokken work, I can get away with lifting from the arms. I can get away with it totally. It's no problem at all. And my body won't give me so much feedback that this is not so great for the body, or I'll just build better biceps. But the point is that I'm trying to really train a different kind of connection with the bokken. Something from the ground. So really feel that something like springs out of the ground. Go. And it goes back into it. Springs, comes back into it. So especially focusing just on the raise. How do I do that raise? And how would I do it effortlessly? How would I do it if that object was very, very heavy? What would I need to do? Also, Nomoto Sensei in Japan was also an obsessive compulsive trainer, and he would train with iron bars. He would run up mountains with iron gaiter sandals with 2 iron bars. He was obsessive, or he is obsessive.
Masochist to me.
And he would basically just train it all day, every day in this kind of way. But he saw it as play, so he didn't see it as torture. He didn't see it as punishing himself. But it was actually building his body, so totally building his body up. And you could see it in the way he did his Aikido, because his Aikido became even more playful. And Nomoto's one of the few people I've seen in Aikido who just smile all the time, constant on the mat, just pure pleasure, because he was just playing with everyone on the mat. It wasn't work, it was just really pleasure, total pleasure. But he did all the heavy work in the morning. He did all the solo training in the morning, so he could really play. But there we go. Ah, Adrian, good. I'm going to highlight Adrian. What is he? Ah. Good. Okay, good. Good. Adrian, watch your other hand as well. See if you can play with. See if you can include the other hand. You're including it, but see if you can bring. Yeah, see if you can bring it into the movement as well. Just explore it as well. That's it. Yeah. Good. Yeah. There we go. Got it.
Oh, enough of that. That's 3 keys.
Yeah. Enough of that.
That's a
Good.
light weight, not an arm weight.
This is why, one of the few weight trainings I actually like is kettlebell training, because it uses momentum, it uses gravity, it uses swinging as a method of using something. So kettlebell training for me is really great. You can train with dumbbells in this way, but it's just not interesting doing this kind of stuff. So any kind of club swinging, all this kind of stuff, this is really useful for us because it's so aligned with what we do. So we'll just add one more movement. So we're going to build up a set. Just come in here, you're just going to cut down here 1, and just going to come into the 7 submarine. So just thrusting through, just there, and then coming back. Just make it real simple. Come here to the back. 1, thrusting through. And it's really 3 movements. You've got the raise, cut, and the thrust. And just play with it, like a really simplified number 7. Here. Just put everything into it. And back. Yeah. Really simplified number 7. Nice. Nice. Nice, Keith. Good. So we could do something similar that we did yesterday and really just look at these 2 movements. And you could look at these 2 movements for a long time, years, decades. Really essential teaching. And if you ever get stuck in a really small hotel room in Tokyo, this is the move to do, because it's the only one you'll be able to do because the room's so small. So just try and see this as really there's a really essential teaching in this, that again, it's about exploring the relationship to the ground. What you're doing now is you've got this move, which is really pretty simple in terms of connection work. And then the second move, the ski, you're passing really a spiral through the connection to the ground. So it's a really tricky movement, but it's not yet a rotation work. So it's essentially the same, but what you're doing is something else with the hip. So that movement from the foot is now being passed through a spiral work, and that comes all the way through the leg. So just imagine a spiral. If you can just picture a spiral from the foot, coming from the ground, it enters the hip, and then it passes through the hand. And if you can visualize that, make that real, it starts to become real. The body will start to align to that. And it is actually happening in the body. So all your musculature, your tendons, your fascia is all going to start to spiral through it. And that's the level I want to get. So I want to really embed that movement into the body deeply. But it actually starts with the mind. So it starts in what I do with the mind. It starts with just visualizing a spiral. Gang, gang. So start on that level where you can just picture something passing from the
Michael,
ground through the body.
sorry, Michael, can you do
Yeah.
it to the camera, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
So you're here, you curl, and you thrust. Curl, thrust. Cut, thrust.
Okay, so the tip of the bokken actually ends up in the same same line as your direction of travel.
Yeah.
Your first
Yeah,
direction. Okay.
This is like when I say like working the line, this is when I really mean it. So when I say like work the line, it should be pretty clear. Like really, there's a sense of a line through the structure. This is why I don't want to come off the line. So I don't want to do something like this. Because this, for me, it destroys my ability to work the line. So if I think about like plowing a field, making a line for myself, I really want the whole structure to align through that line. So the bokken's the thing that's passing through that line, that way. And the moment I start to do things like this, it's possible, but I start to disrupt that training. So this is why I want to keep the saburi really, really simple and really like walking the line. That doesn't mean that the body. It means that the path of the sword. The body adjusts to that. Does that make sense?
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, I have also a question.
Yeah.
The spiral is in the leg in front or in the back leg?
It's in both.
In both.
It passes, if you think of the connection from the beginning, where it passes from, how I move into this is from that foot. Now it's involved in the back foot as well. There's something happening in the back foot, but that connection to the ground is done from the front foot, and it's passed through that to then out. That makes sense. So you're going to enter into the front foot with the suburi here, and then that feeling's like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Thanks.
Got it.
Is your right arm locked at the end of that movement, Michael?
Locked? No.
Okay.
Not locked. I never want to lock the joint system. So if I'm locking it like this, it feels too rigid. And if I hit something with this kind of structure that's locked, the shoulder will really suffer. So the point where I lock it, especially if I lock the shoulder, that will take the force. So I want the structure to be always fluid. There. So it's got that kind of quality. So if I hit something, if I impact something, the pressure of the movement will enter back into the ground through a soft structure, hopefully. But if I lock the joint, it's just going to go into the shoulder.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense? Hopefully. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay, make it a bit more complicated. So we're going to involve rotations now. So you come here, you go here, 1, 2, and then you're going to spiral to the back. So that the front leg is going to come out and you're going to slice to the back here, and then you're going to create a yokomen. So you're starting 2 new movements now. I'll show it from a few angles. You come back, 1, 2, 3, slice to the rear, and then 4, slicing in. It's on the workshop on Sunday, most of you were there. So it's just here, 1, 2, slice to the rear, 3, cutting in yokomen, 4. And then you just repeat it. Oh. And back. And if you're stuck, just let me know. That's it. That's it. All your rotations, tricky rotations. Tactics. Okay, there's lots of tactics for how to fit that spiral into the cut. So just work on just from this position. There's a lot of tactics. If I've locked the whole system and I rotate into it, this will happen. So I basically just pass the sword around. It will just go like around and around. And this is basically working the periphery. This is where we all start. So it's not good or bad. It's just noticing it. The second tactic I'll usually go to is I need to do it with the center. So I'll press the sword into the body and then I'll press it out. And then I'll press the body that way. So if I do this one, it's like jamming it into the system and then pushing it out again. This actually works on the same level. I've created this connection and then I'm pushing, pulling. So again, it's not good or bad. It's just what we do as a tactic to kind of get the body in. See if you can work on something which is actually elastically connected. So it's like this. So it's about connection work, center work. Don't think good or bad. It's like functional, non-functional. It's efficient, non-efficient. But don't think good or bad. The training never enters here. So just get a sense that you can start to more create an elastic connection with the sword. That's where the training becomes really, really not only efficient but like aesthetically nice to look at.
Okay, can I ask my last question for the class?
Never have a last question. Never a last question.
When you move from number 3 to the yokemen,
yeah.
How do you pull the book? How do you
pull the bucket?
You can actually, or do you actually pull it straight?
It's interesting.
Not pull, but I mean, it's how
use
does
the
it
word pull, but because you use the word pull, you pull. So it's actually quite interesting. So when you do this, just watch your position. You're a little bit here. So you're in this kind of position. Now that's possible, but I'm a bit disconnected. So in this one, watch this. When I come to this position, this. So I'm in this kind of connection. Now I'm not off the center. So I've not pulled the sword. So because I've not pulled the sword, I don't need to pull into the next movement. So just watch this. I go through. It's a line to the center, and then I just press the center through. So it's about pressing the center again through the feet, but it's not about pulling the sword. If I pull the sword, that will happen. So just get a sense that you're just going to draw. Imagine the sword's a paintbrush. I'm just going to draw a circle, and I do it with the center. And then I do it with the center. It's about going slow, going no speed, no power, and just see if you can find it's like elastic.
Okay. Thank you.
Need to go.
Go, Bernie, go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Great, good. Was very good. Okay, so you got 4. That's it. Okay, good. You're in. Boom. Good. Okay, Nick, when you do this movement, I just show you because it's a bit new. When you do this one, bring the back leg through as well. So you do this and then bring that leg through. So when you finish that slice, you're going to be with the left foot forward.
Okay.
So think around here, something's at the back. I'm going to rotate fully and then bring that leg back. And then when you make the cutting movement, you're going to do it with the right leg. Go. Like this.
Oh, I see.
Like that. Just give that a try. So you're going to do an extra step as you make the rotation.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. That's it. Okay, good. Good. Nice. Good one. That's it, Keith. Good. Yeah. You got it. Okay, we're going to add some movements, but I'm just going to make a quick drill out of it before we introduce it because it might be a bit complicated. So it comes here. What you're going to do is when we did at the beginning, like rolling back, surging forward, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to do something with the hands. You're going to roll back and you're going to come to this position. This is like a blocking position. So it's like this. You're going to roll back, slide through this way. So you come up into a block position. The hands are like this. So the fingers are up and the thumbs are pointing together. It's like this. So don't do like this in this case. It's like this, roll back, that. And then just practice that. So you just roll back, that. I just want to put the sword into this, right into the system. And let's give that a try. Just coming into position.
Michael, what's the angle of our jaw? Is it
Yeah. Think,
vertical or it's down?
in terms of what this function of this movement is if you imagine a Yoko Menuchi come into the head, what I'm trying to do is create a barrier between that and the head. And I'm trying to create one where it would bounce off. So it needs to be based at an angle like this. And I don't want to do something like that, which would expose the head. And I don't want to do something like that, where the strike would go boom into the head. So I want to create, in this case, a deflection like this. So as a general rule, it's about 45 degrees this way and 45 degrees down. Just a general rule, but it's really just to create an angle like this, where the sword would hit and bounce off, and then I would go wow and strike through them like this. So it's a kind of deflection.
So I always thought about, like, if the sword would actually slide down along your sword, you would lose all the fingers on one hand.
No, because watch where the fingers are in the hand. They're like this. You see that? So they're behind the blade. So they're not like this. So if they're like this, then yeah, that would happen. But in this case, they're like this. See that? So when the sword hits, it goes boom, like this. Boom. And the blade would actually be going this way. And because you'd have a suba on the grip, it would go boom, off, but it's in like this position. So I'm trying to angle it where the connection would be here, beyond the hand. And then it would go.
So you actually want it to slide towards the hand that's on the grip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Not the other way, because if it slides that way, if it slides that way, then I'm in problem. Then I've got a problem. That's it. Got it. Okay, good. So what I want to try now is just from the right side, goes like this, just spiral the body in and find that movement. And then from here, just cut in. You can either cut with the yokoman or just come back to the kamae. But the key difference now is that you're going to step in, rotate to the back. And then from here, bring the movement back. So you're going to roll in, find that position that you just had there, and then coil it in. Rolling back, pressing forward, rolling through, moving forward. Got it. So in Aikido terms, you're doing a kind of irimi tenkan, step rotation. Nice, nice. And if you find this rotation easy, try and notice that it's actually really, really difficult. So to do this well in balance and actually finish in a position functionally I can make a cut from, really, really difficult. So just notice a pattern. I can do something like this and kind of hold this, unlock the system. Now, and it's possible to go there by like going into rigidity. It's possible. So I can go like, and then, but it's a way of doing it, but it feels really heavy. It feels non-functional. So get a sense that you continue a kind of lightness in the upper body, heaviness below, and it's something a bit more soft. So the feeling at the end is like this, really like that. And then from that springiness in the lower body, boom, then I press it through. So try and feel if you can get something quite light at the top. And this is difficult to get heavy in the rotation. It's difficult to do balance. But see if you can work on something that's quite effortless. It's ultimately what I want. So I want to do something that's quite effortless. That and that. Try. And if you can make this look easy, that's the first step. Make it look easy, make it look nice. And it probably will go there. Oh, good, good, good. Super. Nice. Right. Okay, last few minutes, we're going to do the most difficult bit. We're going to piece it all together and we're going to add one more move. So I want you to come from this position. You go here, 1, cut, 2, thrust, 3, slice to the back, cut through 4, and then you're going to go here. You're going to go here. So this is now 6 moves. Goes here, 1, shomunuchi, 2, ski, 3, slice to the back, 4, yokomenuchi, 5, roll into the block, 6, yokomenuchi. So 6 movements here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back. If you get lost at any point, just go back to 1 and 2. Just go as far as you can with it. And if you feel like concentration drops, just work the system where you work the simplest first. So you work the essential pattern first, which is 1, 2. If you can get 1, 2, go 3, 4. 3, 4 is easy. 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. That's it. There we go. That's it. Good. So you can stick with this, or I'm gonna add one more movement. So feel free to stick to the 6 if it's a bit confusing, a bit new. But for me, this 6 feels like it's not quite finished. So I get to number 6 and it feels not quite finished. So what I'm gonna go is now here, straight into it. So you're gonna go in for finish whizzes like this. So I'm gonna add that movement in. You're gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And coming back. 7 movements now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back. That's good. I just give the last move just to play with this last minute or so. What this is, what the function of that movement is. So it's to come up and it's to thrust through with it. So eventually this would go into this and thrusting through. It would go like this. So that would be the move, and it would go straight through the throat. So this is really a killer move. So this is a really deadly movement. So we need to be really careful with it. But because you're solo, you can really practice it on your own. So you're here. This is going to be done just with the whole body. This. And the first step is really like the ski. I just place it in the structure. Just like that. So you're from this position. It's the same movement as number 7. It's just more involved in the body. So it's a more complex movement, especially the structure of the elbows. So just play the last few minutes, just that movement there. Just go to that position. So you can also just go into like number 1, cut in, and then feel it. You can just draw it through. That's it. The last 30 seconds this time. That's it. Okay, and just give you a bit of a detail so you can play with it. You could do this actually like this way as well, but there's a problem. It becomes a bit like a snooker cue thing. So that there's like a shelf, but it's a very small shelf. And also, I don't really like working this kind of area of the hand. So if I do that a lot, it's going to rub this part and destroy it. So what I do is create the palm. So I make a big shelf for the sword. So the palm is the contact, and I slide it through. There. If I'm in that position again, it's like possible, but it's a bit kind of grating on the hand. So just for the last few, you can start to just kind of slide it through gently. So you're kind of inserting it now. So it's like this. In. We do this movement like in the Jo when you come in with the Jo and then throw the person over. So there's this kind of slotting in with the movement. You've got this, that, and it's very subtle. You don't need so much because if you imagine this was with the katana, we just go. That's it. They're very subtle, very silent, but really powerful movement. That's it. Nice. Oh, goes like that.
And body aside.
Yeah. Someone over there.
Yeah.
Good. Nice. That's it. Great. Okay, good. We'll stop there. So this is like 7 patterns you can use with the Taijutsu and with the Ken. Now you'll notice one thing. The Taijutsu is probably harder in terms of concentration work and connection work than the sword. And because I think it's fundamentally to do with, we do a lot of solo work with the sword, and we don't do a lot of solo work Taijutsu. So when we go to solo work, I wonder, like, what am I really doing? And because there's an inherent thing in that these solo Taijutsu patterns are doing something to someone else. There's a thing like, what am I doing? And I'm trying to imagine the uke and all this kind of stuff. So the more we can approach the Taijutsu training in a way like just training my own body and my own relationship to the ground and my own feeling of extension, then I can start to approach the solo Taisabaki training much more clearly. And we basically do it through the Ken. So yeah, my feeling is we do the training anyway with the Ken, but we should also be able to do it without the Ken. So if the Ken's becoming a crutch to solo training, that's the problem for me. So the more we can get into being comfortable with solo work, just doing these kind of movements, but seeing them for what they are, which is just solo body work, not about manipulating another person, that's when we can kind of enter the practice. And it's the same with the bokken. I'm not interested in manipulating the bokken so much. I want to align behind it or underneath it. And that's basically it. Okay. Okie dokie. We'll bow out. So. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Yoki. Great. And if you need references for these, we have very clear reference with Lewis doing them. So